I'm here to talk about copywriting specifically. Now, let me take you back into the history of copywriting a little bit. Who doesn't know what copywriting is? And it's not a legal term. Yeah, my partner over there does not know what I do. It's because I keep it a secret. Account management people think they run things. They can do nothing without us. We are the true power. The history of copywriting. About 150 years ago, probably, when ships used to arrive from one port to another port and imports used to come, the fabrics, the gold, the machinery, the whatever used to arrive from one place to another, people used to have to write in a newspaper, "This stuff has arrived." Basically, that's what the job of copywriting was. That's how it started. And eventually they found that other people were writing it a bit better than they were, and more people were going to buy their stuff. So they had to practice and get better and develop a way to do announcements in a better way. So the craft of making announcements was born, and that became advertising. And I guess that was pretty exciting. A little bit later, with the rise of manufacturing and the rise of brands around about the 1940s and 1950s, copywriting became a skill within an advertising agency. And the first advertising agencies did what we call direct marketing. So they used to write response-based advertising. They used to write to people and ask them to come and visit them. So not just making an announcement anymore, the art of getting a response. And that is very much still alive in what we do today. During the 50s, 60s, 70s, when competition became more stiff amongst all brands and parity became more common amongst all brands, we had to shift from just making an announcement or just getting a response to the art of persuasion. So we then had to learn to persuade people to shift from this brand to that brand. Very different craft. And you have to put together your arguments in a logical and emotional way. More recently, the last 20 years, we're evolving into the art of engagement. So we're not announcing stuff anymore. We're not saying, answer me anymore, come to me. We're not saying, consider my brand versus the other brand so much anymore, although that's still behind it. We're now creating conversations with people. Because copywriting is two ways. We write stuff, the consumer writes stuff. They write back to us. So the art of writing in a conversational way, and a way that engages people in a brand conversation, is now what the business is about. So how do we do that? You will find yourself writing, last week, 2 weeks ago, I was writing, if you go to a Haagen-Dazs restaurant over the next few months, the words you read in the menu will be mine. So what do I do every day? I still write copy, even though I am Sean's partner in the advertising agency and I run the Kunshal Awards and I do a number of other things. I do strategic planning and I run workshops for brands. I still write copy. So you never want to give it up. Once you become a writer, writing is what you do. Right? You never want to give it up. Even if you're persuading someone to choose vanilla over chocolate, it's a great thing to do. So writing is basically what it's all about. And when you begin in an advertising agency, that is what you'll be doing if you're a copywriter. You'll be given all the stuff that the senior guys don't want to do, which is why I was writing the menu, because no one else wants to do it. You'll get the brochures to write, you'll get the fine print to write, you'll get all that stuff that will give you learning practice at how to improve your craft. Improve the craft of persuasion and improve the craft of engagement. So you'll find yourself writing all that stuff. You'll probably find yourself writing a blog. You may find yourself writing many blogs. And you'll find that in each of those blogs, you might be writing one for a bank, one for a car, one for a pharmacy company. You'll find yourself learning how to write in other people's tone of voice. You'll find yourself having to create a language for a brand and then maintaining that language over time. You may even find, talking about people's tone of voice, you may even find, like I did a couple of weeks ago, I had to write a speech for the Prime Minister for launching a a financial conference, a stock market investment conference. Anyway, it was funny because, you know, our Prime Minister is not the greatest of speakers. I don't know if everybody has sat down and listened intently to what he has to say, but it's difficult because it's monotonous and it just goes on and on and on. I discovered that he never gets a chance to see his speeches before he speaks them. He makes so many that he just arrives at the podium, looks at the words and starts reading, which is why he sounds like he does. So I thought I'll give him a bit of a wake-up. So the first sentence I wrote for him was, "Nobody walks to the podium with more confidence than a salesman who has a great story to tell." Very un-PM-like. But he read it and he stopped, and you could see him visibly light up. So I gave him a new tone of voice. Great thing to do, you know, and I have a video of it, and I'll look at it from time to time and say, look what I did. Copywriting. Giving people a tone of voice, giving people a language, and giving people things to say that will persuade people to listen to them. But it's not just about writing. You know, back in the old days of advertising, writers used to sit in one part of the creative department, and art directors used to sit in another part, closer to the front door, so that copywriters could slide the copy under the door of the art director on their way to lunch. That's the way it used to work. Now we work in partnerships. And we think not about the copywriting or the art direction, but we think about the idea first. So between us, and even Sean has ideas sometimes, and Joseph will have ideas sometimes, the collaboration works. So in the end, nobody knows where that idea came from. It could have come from the tea lady, we don't know. Because we talk to all these people and get their points of view on things, and suddenly an idea pops up. And then I go away and practice my craft, because we know what we want to communicate. The art director goes away and practice his craft. And sometimes my craft is just 5 words next to the logo. You know, you were watching that Honda Cog commercial before. What did the copywriter do? Well, the words were something like, "Isn't it wonderful when things just work?" Something like that. He probably wrote that 30 different ways. But what he did before that was work with the team to develop the whole thing. So it's not just about sitting at a desk writing the words. It's developing the whole idea. And then going to the shoot and making sure the idea works. And the element of it you must get right is the words. But the element of it that you must improve all the time is the whole thing. And talking about that, you know, you need to be something of an art director, you need to be something of a designer. Anyone ever heard the word Bodoni before? Bodoni is a typeface. I used to love having my words set in Bodoni because they always looked important. Sometimes I like my words set in Helvetica because it's kind of casual. So I tell the art director the way I want my tone of voice to be. Most of the time they don't listen. But at least I have a point of view on what he should be doing. And he always has a point of view on how many words I should put in the headline, etc. And now there are 10 people who want to be a copywriter. We need you, desperately, seriously. Copywriters can earn a lot of money. Everybody now wants to be a copywriter. Cool. Okay, thank you.